Hello, welcome to Scrap Time episode 1077. My name is Christina. On today's episode, I'm showing you the Lawn Fawn Toboggan Together stamp and die sets. Today I am showing you the Toboggan Together sets from Lawn Fawn, and there's the stamps as well as the dies that cut out all of these shapes. And here's two cards I made, one with the deer and then one with the little penguins. There's many different configurations you can do with this set, but this is what I came up with. And then I like the greetings where it says Merry Christmas to a dear friend. So cute. So I'm going to show you how to make this these cards. So I also want to show you this stamp set here. Snowy backdrop, and this cuts out like this, so all the little areas behind it. So what I did is I cut it out from a regular piece of paper, and I'm going to use this as a stencil. So I'm going to take my card and layer it right on top. Then I am using the tumbled glass distress inks with my little round applicator. And I'm just going to make sure it's sort of on there and rub some ink in there. Now I just want it sort of soft. I'm not looking for really dark snow here. So I can peel it back and just see, oh, I want some more in a few areas. So just put it back on, and because it's so random, it doesn't matter if it's exactly on in the exact same place. Let's see. Oh, up in that corner I want some. I'm not so concerned down here because I'm going to put a piece of paper here, but I think I'm going to do a little bit more on this side. So I'm moving my stencil a bit. And then I'm going to do a bit up in this corner. So I'm just going to, again, I can just move it and put some in that color. Or that corner, I mean. And then maybe over here on the edge. And that should be good. So I have, it's very soft, but I have some falling snow on the background of my card. So the next thing I want to do is get my little shapes together. So I'm going to use the deer, and I'm going to use the little Santa hat and the sled. He'll sit on the sled. I'm going to have a tree in that. So I'm going to show you how to do the other deer. So I like to cut it out first. Obviously, if I cut it from white paper. And then I do the stamping. Because these are clear stamps, I'm able to see where I am stamping. Now I'm using Memento ink, Memento black ink. Because of the technique I'm going to do, I know that the Memento ink works well for it. And then I'm just going to stand so I can see over top, so I can see where I'm positioning my stamp. And just like that, we have the cute little deer already cut out. So now I'm coloring him in with some pencil crayons. I have the Lyra here, but the Prismacolor works really well as well. It's just for the browns, this is what I had. And I'm going to just do his face here, the light. And then the inside of his ear. His little, who's there? His feet. And the top of his tail. So now in the darker, I'm going to do the top of his head. And then his body. Now you can see that I'm coloring fairly quickly. I color generally the same direction, but you can still see my pencil marks where I'm coloring. And I'm going to show you a trick as soon as I finish coloring him in. Now you can add more of the pigment down, more color, like to make it darker. I could go in there and make his head a little darker, or under here, and do shadowing, whatever you'd like. There he has some color. So the trick is, in the past, a lot of times we have used Gamsol. And sometimes you can't find it, and I found mine evaporated. So what I found now is I have this Prismacolor Colorless Blender Marker. The one I have has a fine tip and it has a brush tip. Because I'm doing a lot of small little areas, I'm using the fine tip. And I just go over where I colored, and I find it just smooths out my coloring. So I'm doing the light first. And then I'm going to do the dark. Now I could go and just rub this off on a piece of paper to get rid of that color, but because I'm doing a dark brown, I'm not that concerned. But if I had done the dark first, I would have gone and just sort of rubbed it off. So you can see how this fine tip is great for this, because it has a lot of small little areas to get around. And by going over with that colorless blender, you can see it just nicely smooths out all my pencil marks. And then I could just take a scrap piece of paper here, and you just rub it off before you use the next color. So even though the color on the end is sort of changed, it doesn't really transfer onto your projects. So we have our little guy colored. It's time to put together our card. Now, Lawn Fawn also has this new paper pack, and it also comes in larger sheets. Let's Bouquet in the Snow. And it has a large and a smaller design in a bunch of colors. The reds, the greens, the cream. Oh, and it also has a stripe. And then this one has little stars in it as well. And then, so a really cute paper pad for your projects. So I'm going to use some of this here. I think I actually have a couple. Do I have a couple of sheets going on here? Nope, just one. So I'm going to cut off a piece, and I'm just going to make a little snow hill. Just sort of like that, my little snow hill, and then I'm going to glue that on. Just have to get my glue. I find my glue clogs a lot, so. And I glue up the sides a bit because I know my sides are going to come off, that I'm going to have to cut off the edges. My glue is clogged again, but I should be able to get enough to get this part glued on anyway. And I just sort of glue that on like that. And I'll go in later and cut off the excess. Let me just unclog my glue again. So I have this little tree that I cut out that I'm going to glue on there, I think. And then I have my sled and my little guy. I have a hat for him. And then this guy will be over here. So I think he has to move over. So I'm going to show you one more trick in a moment after I'm going to glue this on. Too much glue. Too much glue. Now that I have glue all over my fingers. Okay, so I want to attach this little rope that would be attaching from the sled to his mouth. So what I do to figure out where to put him is I have one that's already cut out. So I know I want to go from there to like his mouth. So this helps me be able to place where I want my little deer. Sort of like that. So when I look here, it's almost about a thumb away. So when I go to put him back down, I know it's about a thumb width. So he should be about here. And I can put this on just to, before I completely put him down. Yeah, that should be fairly close. So I can put him there. And then I get my stamp. I put my ink on. And I just sort of line it up. And there we now have him pulling the sled. So I'm just going to cut off my ends. Oops. Okay, so now it's time for the greeting, and I think I'm going to just lay it down to make sure. I don't know if I'd have enough room for both, so I think I might just, I think I'm going to do Happy Holidays. Just down here. So I like to lay it down on my need to pick it up. And I'm just going to turn it towards me to do the stamping, to make sure I have it right. There we have Happy Holidays. So if I wanted to put more, then I would just move him up to give myself more room down there to put the Merry Christmas to a dear friend or a cool friend like I did last time. I had just more room down there. I placed him lower down this time on my little snow hill. So that gives you one out of many ways you can use the Lawn Fawn Toboggan Together stamp set. Perfect for your holiday cards this season. Well, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to check out our website at www.scraptime.ca. And on our next episode, I'm showing you the Imagine Crafts Iridescent Creative Medium. So please join us. Thanks for watching Scrap Time.